And here I am now. I'm in Brighton on the East Sussex coast in the UK, and it's one of my favourite places. It's absolutely lovely. This part of the film here is taken in what's called the lanes in Brighton, and it's quite an inspirational area. As you can see, they are actually small lanes. There's several of them, and it's a nice place to walk. As I said, it's very inspirational. Lots of people, though not too many. I think we've avoided the rush. If you see yourself here somewhere, do wave. Oh, yeah. So my daughter and I have come down here for a couple of days, just a little mini break. So we're just venturing out now into what are the lanes. Chocky Wocky, those of you who used to watch the food programme or still do, the food channel, and remember Chocky Wocky, one of the Chocky Wocky UK programmes was set down here in these lanes. Unfortunately, it closed some time ago, and it's a great pity. But here we are, even more things to see. So I'll just be quiet for a little while, and perhaps you can just enjoy what you're looking at. I'll just say this is a really lovely tea shop here. Traditional tea and traditional snacks, and just really delicious. Well, for me, one of the highlights of our visit to Brighton was a trip to Sea Life. I've been to several Sea Lifes in the UK, and they are really wonderful, and this one is particularly beautiful, isn't it? It's set in Victorian building, which I believe was meant or intended to be built to look like a crypt, and it really does look like a crypt. If I can remember, I'll put some photographs here, but I want you to notice the colours of the fish and the shape of the fish, because this is so inspirational. I feel a fish project coming on. Absolutely tremendous. Look at this fish. Just gorgeous, the colours and the shapes, and here you have the stripes against spots on the fins, the tails, and the different shapes, the round shapes against, I don't know what they're called on the top, spines would they be? They are just totally gorgeous. I feel another project coming on with those. Look at them. I spent ages just looking at these wonderful fish. It's going to be a hard choice to decide on one particular shape of fish. I think I know what I will do, and I'm going to save this one. And I'm going to pull out all the scraps, the stringy, long, thin scraps that I think I'm going to use for the background. Now, I have an idea in my head. I'm going to do the background predominantly maybe green, maybe blue, and the fish in a complementary colour. I haven't actually really thought it out much. It's just thinking aloud, as I do tend to do. Oh, look at this! How shameful is that? Look, isn't that awful? Embroidery purists, please look away now. That's quite shocking. Put that over there. So I will spend some time taking out strips like this. That's rather lovely, that gold. Take out any strips that I like. There should be strips here, because I remember cutting some for a weaving project that I was doing at one time. There might be several pieces like this. The widths can vary. Not too thick. I don't think I'd want to do them any thicker than that. In fact, that's probably too thick. Some of them I might just tear. That's quite a nice width, that width. See, yeah, there's quite a few here that were obviously cut for a weaving project. So I'm going to hook those out. That's a very nice colour for a fish, isn't it? I do like that. Anyway, I'm going to have fun here for a little while. I'll iron them, and then I'll get back to you as soon as I've done that. Whoa, look at this before you go. Look at that. I can't use... Oh, some of this really is just rubbish. Look,
I can't use that, can I? Oh, shame on me. Shame
Trim
on
some
me.
of them to give me the width that I need, and they're all different widths. I've left some as they were, uh, like that. So I'm going to see what I can do with it. Now I'm going to move these over for a minute and just then pop them over there. Now I've decided on the size I want, which is regular printing paper size. And I've cut out some medium weight interfacing. Now the lightweight would be too light for this task, and the heavyweight for me, for what I need, would be too heavy. So I've literally stuck to the medium weight. And if you can see, you see the shiny side there, that is the glue side. Now it's all right, it's like this, it's fine, but as soon as it gets hot, the glue melts. So for anyone who hasn't used this before, it's fine. You're not going to stick to it like this until you press it on that side, the matte side, then it will start getting gluey and sticky. So I've put sheet of A4 paper, printing paper, down on my table here, and I'm going to put this down, matte side down, so the glue is up. And then all I'm going to do is start laying these on the background very, very carefully. Now I've put the paper down as a gauge, just as a measuring stick, so I know roughly where to stop, where to start, and how far to take it down the paper here. Okay, so I'm going to start that. I'm going to just put these down, not really think about it, just lay them all the way down. Right, I'm going to move that up just a bit so you can see a little bit better, or not. Ooh. And as they come. Now they don't have to be straight, you can do them wonky donkey, it's up to you. Some of these have been cut wonky donkey, like this one. I'm just going to put them over here, like that. That one, I don't know if that's too thick, but I can narrow that with another one. Now I'm not paying much attention to how I'm putting these down. I was a bit selective in choosing the colours. And I like this because this gives me the feeling of seaweed underneath the sea waving about. I could put that there. It doesn't have to be straight. You put them down in a way that pleases you. So here we are. I'm going to call that done. Now I need to put the iron on and very carefully press this. Now I'm going to press it under a sheet of paper, so I can really press hard without burning any of the fabric. I'm going to put the paper over the first sheet. Where are we? And I'm going to press it all the way over until it's stuck. And already I can see a couple of these have come out. That's where I knocked the iron over. Never mind, easy enough to put back. Let's pop that one under there. Here we go. Down we go. And just press. Now the heat of the iron should penetrate through the paper and the fabric and release the glue from the back of the interfacing. This is my travel iron. Well, it was travel iron, but I then suddenly realised it makes great craft. I'm going to take this paper off, and now we have it. Okay, nicely stuck to the iron or violin. Now I'm going to turn this over. You see that? Look, nicely stuck. I'm going to turn it over and then just do it this way, just to make sure that is really stuck down. Right, so here we go. I'm going to take that off now. Whoa, that is hot. And that is wonderful. So the next thing to do, I'm going to trim all the way around the edge. Just turn that iron off. Oh, now, saints preserve us, but am I going to save these tiny pieces? Although these tiny pieces will have their uses as well. I'm trying to declutter, but I'm not very good at it. There we go. Right, now at this stage, I always use, as you know, organdy to put over it, or nets. I just like that effect, and I just think it has a little bit of it makes it a bit more secure, stops it dancing. Well, I'm actually going to use the net because I've just looked down and it's actually on the floor beside me, and you can see it's all crumpled up. I've had to pull it out, so I'm going to use that. But what I'll do is, because I don't trust myself with the iron, I've already burnt some today. Right, so I'm going to put that over. I just want to iron it, so what I'm going to do actually is cut along there. There we go, and put that over, and I'll iron that under the paper once again, get that nice and smooth. Now I could tuck around the edge, all the way around the edge, but I'm not going to. I think I'll put some pins in there, then I will machine sew all around the edge just to hold it in place. So pins all the way around, and then it will be time to machine sew. But before I do that, the machine sewing, I've decided to prepare the fabric for the fish at the same time, so I can do the sewing all at the same time, and that saves time, and I think that's better. It'll work out better that way. Now I don't want to replicate the fabric for the fish as I've done on the background, so I've been through all these bits again, and the pile is just horrendous at the right of me, no, the left, well, and the right actually, but at the left of me it's climbing up the wall, and oh good grief, it's awful if I say so myself. Now what I'm going to do is the same as I did before. Now there will probably be quite a bit of waste on this because I won't need the whole lot, but I'm sure I'll be able to find a use for it sooner or later. Now I'm not going to do this in strips as I did the previous one. I'm going to do it in a different, I will use strips as well, but I'm also going to add other shapes, other pieces of scrap as well. So hopefully we just get a nice effect, colourful fish that aren't in stripes. Having said that, I'm now using 2 pieces of stripes, or strips I should say, and that can go there. A couple of little flowers there. Yeah, I'm liking this already. So I'm going to carry on with this until I get it to the same stage as this one, and then I shall machine sew them at the same time. They've both been machine sewn now, and this was, I keep saying it, but it was really a lovely task to do, and it's as mindful as you want it. Some people say machine sewing isn't mindful, but it is. You actually can get lost in just machining up and down while your mind does other things. So please don't think machine sewing is not mindful. Yes, it is. So this is the background now, all done. You can see I followed the lines of some of these fabric shapes here. Well, all of them actually, all the fabric shapes. And I hope it gives the impression of the seaweed moving around, especially that one. Look how that's swaying with the water. I'm not sure what else I'm going to do to that, but it's not finished. It's not finished yet. And this is for the fish. Now, this one, oh, it's turned out really well. I put white organza on this, and it's just looking fabulous. If you can see that shine there, it's got the lovely shine of those silvery fish. To my mind, it's just too nice to cut up. I am so tempted not to cut this up and to actually do something else with a fish. But I think, no, I've done this for the fish. Now, the wavy lines here are just related lines. I just sewed one, machine sewed one, and then I just followed it, spaced them, and just followed the same line. So they're all related lines. And then I did exactly the same related lines going down, across. You can see them here. Just did one, and then I followed them. Just varying the space, close as against to wide, or should I say narrow and wide. We have, so that gives a nice variation in the size of the shapes here. I'm not sure if you can see it. If I look up there, let me see. There's a small one there. Okay, small shape there, set against some big ones along here. Then we have a narrow one here against a wide one there. So this just happened. It wasn't a conscious decision. All I consciously did was follow one line, related line, then followed it with the others, just weaving in and out. Well, not weaving in and out, but just following the lines. And there's a tiny one there. Can you see that one up there? Look, right there. That is a tiny one. In fact, I'm not even sure it's coming out up there. So there's a teeny tiny one there, but this one next to it here is huge in comparison. So we have some really nice shapes going on here for the fish. I'm going to take it down. Unfortunately, the colours aren't coming out as bright as they are in front of me, and it's now 6:10 of an evening. I've got the curtains open, but the light has faded. It's dark out now. But these are still bright. I just think it's lovely, absolutely lovely, and it's given me some ideas actually for another project. To contrast, we have the matte here, non-shiny, nothing shiny about that, little bits of gold maybe along there, but that is matte. This is shiny, so we have two contrasts, the shiny and the matte. Then we have the strips here, just long, narrow strips of sewing against the short, dumpy little shapes here. All right, so it's all taking shape. And a lot of the time, it isn't a conscious decision to do these for the elements. It just happens. It just happens, and you look at it and you think, oh, I didn't realise that I've done the contrast. I didn't consciously think about it. Because for me, this was a mindful exercise. This has been so mindful, this as well. So anyway, I'm taking these downstairs now. I'm going to put them on the wall, on the chimney breast for a while. And I'll have a look. Oh, really sick. Yes, I am going to cut this into fish. Actually, if I turn that one round there, that is almost fish shape in itself. Sort of. There's the one fin there, and you've got the tail there, another fin there, and it comes around here. Yes, that is almost fish shape. And this one as well. Good grief, I didn't realise that. I picked that up out the rag bag and didn't realise I was actually picking up a whale. Look at that shape. If that isn't a fish shape, then I don't know what is. Anyway, off I go downstairs, nice cup of coffee, and I'll have a look at this later. So I think I'm going to choose that one's a nice fish shape, and that one actually reflects the true shape of the fish that I like. That one's not a bad shape either. I put these ones away and yeah, I think I'm going to look at this one. And I'm going to come back to here, this piece here that I'm now about to chop up onto sufferance, I think. And just going to see. Right, so it's going to be quite a whopper of a fish, isn't it? I'll cut out a couple. See if I can fit. Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of waste on this project, but I'm sure I can carry that over to another project. Now, what I'm going to do is just mix this up. So I'm not planning the arrangement of the fish at all. When I say the arrangement, I mean fabric placement, although I can actually see through here, but I'm not going to plan the fabric arrangement. So all I'm going to do, I want to get the most from this, so I don't think it's going to make much difference there. Yeah, now I should place some. Ooh, I think it might be easier to place them this way. 1, 2. I think I'm just going to get about 4 anyway, no matter what way I place them. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think this way will be the best. Right, I'm going to turn it around this way so the long side is facing me. And all I'm going to do is just draw around these shapes all the way around and then just cut them out. That's all. So there we are. I've traced or drawn around these. I'm aware that one of the fish has got a little bit of tail missing here, but that doesn't matter. I can deal with that. Now I'm going to cut them out. Now they've all been cut out. Put that there for a minute and just place these fish on to see what the immediate effect is like. Whoa, oh my goodness, I can see already. Oh, where's that one with the missing tail? Well, it isn't a missing tail as such, but some of it is missing. Right, so I think I need to spend some time. Now the fish won't all go in the same way. Mostly they would go in the same way, but there was the odd one that was it's almost like camouflage, isn't it? I wonder if I should have them go in the same way. Anyway, I'm going to play around with this for a while, see what I come up with. Oops, there's no reason why I shouldn't overlap some of them, I suppose. If I come up with something I like, an arrangement I like, I might secure them in place. Maybe something like that. Now, even at this point, you can see that this blends in with the background. So I think these will have to be at some stage outlined. Yeah, but I'm quite liking that at the moment. Whoa, that's playing tricks with my eyes. Anyway, I am going to carry on with this. And hopefully while I'm doing it, I'll come up with a few ideas. So you're going to have to look really carefully at this. Now you can see the background. I'll start with that first. and I've couched down some string here. Oh, well, you can see the string. I don't need to point it all out, do I? And that is waving under the sea in the waves. I've couched some with white cotton, like here, with a zigzag. And then I've couched others with a gold thread. Here and here. I put the gold thread on top of the machine and in the bobbin. Now I've also done some very, very small fine lines of gold thread just scattered about. You can see one there and down here, and they're just here, there and everywhere. They've not actually added much. I don't think they've added anything really. I'm not even sure if it was a waste of time doing it. You can see one here. You can see them more close up than obviously on the screen. Now the fish are very well camouflaged, as you can or cannot see. If you can't see them, it's because they're well camouflaged. They're all the same shape. There's a lot of overlapping that's going on. Well, some overlapping, let's say. I like this bit. This bit overlaps beautifully. I've sewn them down with a straight stitch in dark blue or black. I can't make out what that is, blue or black, all the way around the edges. Now this is as far as I've got. Not sure what comes next, so I'm going to have a break from it for a while and then look at my embroidery threads, and it's probably time now to start some hand stitching, some slow stitch or some basic stitches on the background and on the fish. I don't think I'm going to do too much on the fish, but I might do some on the background. I think if I'm going to embellish, which I am, I'm only going to do either or, background or fish, but maybe not both. I think at this stage the fish might need a bit of an outline. I'm not sure if this is going to suffice, this very fine line, but we'll see. I'll make a start on the background and then it will just take its own way. Okay, now at this moment I'm quite pleased with it. Not sure what's going to happen to it. I will make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's very, I think, unusual looking. Let's see if you can see those fish a bit better close up. There we go. So I don't have to point out all the little different shapes, but what a lovely effect. Even if you don't like it as fish, it's just a beautiful effect, just a fabulous new fabric. You can see the rose there, and that piece, that the black shiny piece with the big pink flower on it, that I said, oh, it looks like a fish already. There it is. And that's part here of that piece that was shaped like a fish. I can see the other part here that was already shaped like a fish. Now I'm treating these very gently because I'm going to use those again. I'll get back as soon as I've made headway with it. Well, I think it looks very different to how I left it. As you can see, I have finished. I don't think there's anything else I can do now, and I did get carried away. I suppose it took about 2 evenings to do, and I got so cozy I forgot to video it. But I'm just going to run through it just to show you what I've done. Now the fish I'd already secured with the dark blue around here, the sewing machine in. Then I went round with chain stitch all the way around each of the 4 fish with chain stitch. And then I decided just to go round inside with running stitch, because I had a feeling that the fish would actually get lost in the busy background, which I hadn't finished at that stage, but it was already busy enough. And then I've just dotted the fish eyes. So I'm calling those finished. Now the background, I have to say, I loved every minute of doing this. It's all the regular stitches. There aren't any peculiar stitches here that we haven't used before. I've tried to leave some areas plain, like here and here and here. Well, you can see where I've left the plain areas, and it just breaks up the busyness. It's the contrast, isn't it, between busy stitching and calmness of the plain areas. So I'll just run through the stitches. Here we have, oh, I must explain as well, I've got masking tape holding it down because it's actually being stretched at the moment. I'm stretching it into some sort of rectangular shape because all the sewing, it pulled it out of true. So I'm just stretching it. It's been stretching now overnight, so it's ready to come off. As soon as I find a background fabric for this to go on or for me to edge, I'll take the masking tape off. So where was I? Yes. So you can't see half of this stitch. It's back to back. There we go. Look, you can see that back to back blanket stitch, also known as hairy caterpillar, and it's dotted with French knots. This is a twisted chain, and that is a beautiful stitch to do, and I haven't over egged the twisted chain. I've done it 1, 2, just in 3 places, and that is a really nice stitch. It looks more complicated than it is. It's not at all difficult to do. Then we have our trusted old feather stitch friend here. Quite a lot of that because that gives a nice organic feel, like something is growing or it's waving about under the sea amongst the waves. Once again, oh, here we have ladder stitch, and as you can see here, it's dotted with running stitch. So where did I get ladder stitch here, which is just a derivation, if you like, of feather stitch. More running stitch there. I've added some beads as I go along, beads here, and some sequins which catch the light lovely. Didn't want too many shiny blingy things on this, and that's a first, isn't it? So I just think that adds something, but it's not too much. And then we have, I think, a repetition of all the stitches here. I don't believe there's anything here that I haven't mentioned down there. So what was that? That was just blanket stitch, twisted chain, feather stitch, running stitch, what was that? Ladder stitch. Ooh, French knots. So there are 5 types of stitch here, and we've done them all before. They're what I call basic trusted stitches. So I hope you like that busy effect. Now I'm going off now to look for a background for the border, as I've just mentioned, and as soon as I found that, I'll get back and we'll see where we are, and then it should be on its way to being finished. I can see at the moment this is over an hour long, so I think I might have to cut it quite a bit or send it out in 2 parts, but we'll see how much I can actually edit out of this. Okay, well, I'm off now, really am. I'm off now to go and get some background. A variety of scraps, some patterned, and this is the only one that's plain, but I think this might be the best one. I think if I use a pattern one, and I was looking at one of these, I think it might be too much, although they do look like fish and I do love that. But I think because this is very busy, I'll go for a plain, just a little border all the way around. Now I have only got this piece here that you can see on the screen from the scrap bag. So I'll have to be careful how I use it, but then I only want a narrow one, maybe an inch. So an inch, maybe just over an inch, add ½ inch for the turning, so we make that about 2 inches. Okay, but the first thing I'm going to do is just take off all this masking tape. And you see how it just peels off, make that a little bit smaller, that's better. You see how this just peels off, it's just a joy. I'll save these pieces. My grandson, my 3-year-old, he just loves sticking this all over the place, especially on his granddad, Glenn. Loves tying his granddad up with this and then around his hands. And then just ripping it off. Oh, it's a joy to behold. So there we go. Now look at that. And touch wood, it hasn't pulled any stitches. There we are. And carefully put that over there. And there we have it. So by taking that off, I think I've gained quite a lot of fabric down here. Move that down, right. So my next task is now to cut this into about 2-inch strips, and I need 4. I need 2 this length down there, and I need 2 that length. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. After I've cut that, I might just carry on machine sewing or start machine sewing, and I will put them right side to right side and just sew along here. Although I could do that in one go. Oh, I've got options here. I have options. I could fold it and do it that way. Right, okay. Anyway, I'm going to carry on and we'll see what actually happens. But for the minute, I'm going to just start cutting this into strips. I'm going to cut them about 2 inches. And I shall go, because it's corduroy, I can just go straight the way down one of the lines and know that it's nice and straight. Now I need to turn it to suit me. Right, okay, so 2 inches will be roughly, I think, these aren't inches, so, but I'll be guided by this straight line. It's about there. So these are cut out. What I'm going to do now is take the short ones and start with the sides first. I'm going to put them right side to right side, edge to edge, and I'm going just to pin them. In fact, I'm just sticking a couple of sewing needles in them just to hold them in place. They're short enough to be able to guide with your hand, and I'm just going to trim that off there. And then I'll do the same this side, right side to right side. I mean, you don't have to have it that if you prefer the other side, which is actually quite nice. You can have it that way, but I'm going for right side to right side. There we go. This side, put just a couple of pins in there as well. 1, 2, that'll hold it. Oh, that's my lovely big pin needle there. And then I'm going to machine sew that. Now after I've done that, I'm going to open these up, and I'm going to do the same with the other 2 sides. Well, before I show you what I've done, I'm just going to show you this piece here. Now this piece of fabric, it's all the offcuts from that initial piece of fabric that I cut the fish from, and these are the pieces that came out from the fins and around the shape of the fish. I've just placed them down there and just scribbled over them. So now I have another piece of that fabric to use for something else. I was very tempted to cut another fish out or part of a fish to put it on with the other 4 fish, but then I thought, no, maybe not. Maybe that might be overdoing it a little bit. But anyway, look what you can do. So there's even more fabric scraps now. I seem to be trying to use up all the fabric scraps that I have, but by by making more fabric, I'm actually making more scraps. And this one, I've just done that as well at the same time as a little break. This was from, I think it was the last project, where we used a lot of felt shapes that I had, and these were the shapes that were left over that I couldn't use, and I just took a handful of what's on the table here, and that you can see here, what I've used, and just placed it on top and put some organza over the top of it. So more fabric there. So I just keep accumulating more and more fabric. But anyway, it's such a good idea, isn't it? So now it's just working out what to do with these. But meanwhile, I'll just save them on a pile. Okay, anyway, let's carry on. What have I done? I've actually finished it. That's what I've done. Now, I've mounted it on that nice fabric that I said I liked. But I've not used it in a way, really, to show off all this. I put it on this big piece here because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. So I've allowed myself enough movement here and here to either add to it, or if not, I can cut it off. So I'm just going to push that under there. Now this is straight. It's all very straight, but because of the angle of the camera, it's looking a bit as if it's bowing in here and in there, whereas in actual fact it isn't. It is entirely straight. Let me just, if I can pull it around here just to sort of prove a little point a little bit. So that is it that way, and this way, you see the bow there. And it really isn't. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, it's now finished. I am so tempted to put some stitching down here, and maybe extend some of this over the frame. But I'm not going to. I'm eager to start another project. Push this aside just for 1 minute, or just for a short time, until I know if I'm going to construct it into anything. I'll just show you the back of this. It's one of those samples, those padded samples here. So it is nice and thick. It's nice and soft and springy. So it will actually make something rather nice when I find out what it is. Okay, I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I did say to my stepson downstairs, I'm going to sew this onto your t-shirt. And he nearly fainted. I think he thought I was serious, but I wasn't. Well, I found it hilarious, even if he turned white. But I wouldn't do that. Well, not while he's awake. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any ideas about what I can do with it, polite ideas, you know, none of this put it in the bin. If you have any ideas, let me know. This afternoon I've earmarked to catch up on YouTube and Facebook comments. I'm still apologising for this, but honestly, as you all know, life is very, very busy sometimes, and this is just one of those times. Okay, so don't forget, wherever you are, keep safe. Okay, keep safe and take care. And whatever you're doing, have fun doing it. Okay, so please take care. If you haven't subscribed, perhaps you'll think about subscribing too. All right then, until next time, which hopefully won't be too long, I'll see you then.